What is up, guys? Welcome back to Punk Rock Radar. We are coming at you today with another 10 punk rock debut albums. We've got more of the skate punk and ska punk variety this time around, a couple different bands. We've got Pulley, we've got Diesel Boy, Swinging Utters, Goldfinger, a bunch of different bands we're going to be ranking here today. It's going to be two per tier. That's two S tier, two A tier, two B tier, two C tier, two D tier. And sometimes things are going to end up in a tier that we don't truly believe. So if you're saying, why is that in the D tier? Well, we just didn't have room to put it anywhere else because it's two per tier. And so, guys, we've got Lewis here with me today. We've got Dylan. We've got John. Are you guys ready to get into this debut tier list?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, our first punk rock debut is going to be Pulley's, which is a steam-driven engine, not self-esteem-driven engine, which I've called it for so long. I always ended up calling it that. So, but I guess I'll go first here, and this is just going in my S pretty definitively. I think Pulley at this point is like they're pretty professional musicians. They're able to create like a really good, fun kind of skate pop punk record. I guess it's like technically the second album if we're counting 10 Foot Pole kind of being the first one, but we're not really. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's 10 Foot Pole's Rev always seemed like the precursor to this, obviously. But I feel like this is a better record than Rev, in my opinion. I think like Cashed In is a amazing intro. Eyes Wide Open is one of my favorite songs. Four Walls, Silver Tongue Devils. It's pretty stacked. It's super catchy. You really can't top it. So, Lewis, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, man. I've said it before. I'm not the biggest Pulley fan, but this happens to be the Pulley album that I think I enjoy the most. I got to be honest, and I've liked this one for a really long time. I don't think I'm gonna go quite as high as S because there's records on here that I love more than this, but this one is going. I told you my list was shuffling up today, and this is one of the ones that I've been rethinking. And I'm gonna shoot this one up from B to A. I was kind of going back and forth on that, and I feel it's a very solid A, especially after all you hit. And I just listened to it while I was grocery shopping again, and it rules. So A tier is solid.
Yeah. Dylan, what do you think here?
Pulley is at this point was a true melodic punk supergroup. Obviously, Scott from 10 Foot Pole, Jim Cherry on bass, or actually Jim Cherry played guitar. Matt Riddle on bass, and Jordan Burns on drums. So and the production matched the pedigree, I would say. So yeah, I'm gonna put Pulley in S.
Yeah, it's got like some top tier musicians on this thing.
Yes.
And it's super balanced too, like from a production level. Like everything just pops and shines through. But John, what do you think of a steam driven engine here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the majority, which is gonna be S. This is my favorite album on the entire episode, so I'm glad it's starting off. The only song you guys didn't shout out that I will is One Shot, which was the first Pulley song I ever heard. I think this is my second or third favorite Pulley album, and it sounds Dylan's favorite. We've gotten into it so many times. 60 Cycle Hum. I think this sounds so much better than that one. Yeah, it's my first S tier too. Great record.
Lifer. That's another good song.
Lifer is really good. Where did you hear One Shot at?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out, but I know that was the first one I heard.
That was the first one? That's so random.
Yeah.
I feel like it's random. Maybe it was on some compilation or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next record here. What is it going to be, John?
It is... Oh, shoot. Hold on. It is Face to Face, Don't Turn Away.
All right, Lewis, go ahead. Start us off with Face to Face, Don't Turn Away, which I think I know where you're probably going to put this one. We'll see if I'm right.
Yeah, so if this album wasn't on here, this might have taken the other S spot for me. So, yeah. So, sorry, I said that wrong. If Pulley was whatever, Pulley would have taken the S spot if this album wasn't on here because this is going to be my first S. I got it. But yeah, this album rules. I love this Face to Face record. I mean, every song on here is really good. I mean, all the way from like You've Done Nothing all the way to the end. And I know Dylan loves the Beast. the B-side, Don't Turn
Yeah,
Away,
the
that didn't
title
make the
track.
track. Yeah, that didn't make it. Yeah. But this whole album's really good. Obviously, I mean, like, one word you could say is disconnected. It's obviously one of the most classic, like, 90s punk rock songs. I mean, what is there to say about it? I've had this record, I don't know, since either like early 2000s or late 90s, and I still go back to this one. So it had to be one of my S's. It's incredible. So I still love it, even if the some of the later albums have a little bit more polish. But this album rules. So Dylan, what do you think?
It was I was flip flopping whether I wanted Pulley or Face to Face in the S tier. Obviously, Pulley won out, so Face to Face drops down to the A tier. But still, top 3 Face to Face album. It is weird that the title track is a B side. I don't know how that happens, but
Pump up
yeah,
the volume too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah, that would be my favorite song on the album if it was on there though. And also it's funny we got 2 for 2 albums with Matt Riddle on them
Oh yeah.
playing bass.
It's the same basis. That makes sense. They have very similar playing styles on here. A lot of similar sounding bass lines.
I would say like top 10 punk bases for certain. Matt Riddle doesn't get his due.
No, definitely.
Well,
John,
that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here. We're here to give people their due. John,
We're giving Matt Riddle his flowers, baby. All right, let's go.
Where would you put?
I predicted that Dylan and I are gonna have very similar lists, and it's starting off that way. I'm also gonna go in the A tier, and I heard a lot of these songs the first time on the live album. I think I'm Trying, Walk Away, You've Done Nothing. Lots of great songs on here. It's not my favorite Face to Face. It's the self-titled. I've said it many times on here, but it's one of the best 4 on the list, so it's going in the A tier for me.
All right. And this record is going in my A tier as well. So I'm sided with the majority this time. And it's like such like a nice, like melodic punk record. One of my favorites is You've Got a Problem. Has such a cool guitar riff, and there's like, it has just such like a smooth vibe throughout the entire thing, and the musicianship is on point. The production is like so good. Just like the drums sound good, the guitar sounds good, the bass really just pulls everything together, and yeah, you can't really do too much better than I think. I don't know if this is my favorite Face to Face. There's a couple I haven't heard, but I really like this one a lot. So. But the
way you just described this record, it sounds like an album to make love to. It was pretty funny.
I can make love to the Face to Face record. So whenever you come to visit, Lewis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's the next one we got here, John?
Forgotten Country by Good Riddance.
All right, Dylan, go ahead and start us off with this one. Forgotten Country, Good Riddance. Where would you put this?
I think I had a mostly unfavorable opinion of this in the Good Riddance video tier list. I've since listened to it more, and I would say I was probably a little harsh on it. I don't think it's a great album by any means, and I'm struggling whether I want to put it in B or C, but I think that a few of the others are stronger, so I'm going to put it in C.
C tier for Dylan.
No, C.
Yep, C tier. John, where would you put Good Riddance, Forgotten Country?
Right in the C tier. I saw this coming. I think there's a better early Good Riddance album coming up. You'll kind of see what I mean. Coming up very soon. But yeah, we got Fly's First Class, we got United Cigar, we got Mother Superior. There's a lot of good songs, Decoy, on here, but it's definitely not my favorite Good Riddance album. It's towards the bottom of my Good Riddance albums. It's still solid. You can see where they're going as a band. I think they did this style a little better on Operation Phoenix. But yeah, I'm gonna go C. It's definitely not one that I listen to very often.
I definitely, I can see this being like compared to Operation Phoenix. It's like a not as good Operation Phoenix, but I still think it's kind of a ripper, honestly. Like I really like this one when I was listening to it. Fly's First Class is like such a banger intro. United Cigar, Mother Superior, and I think it drops off a little bit towards the end. It gets a bit. There's some forgettable tracks, but it ends with October, which I think is also like a really strong Good Riddance track. And I thought it was like pretty solid Good Riddance record, so I'm gonna put it in my B tier. And Lewis, what are you doing with this one?
I think this is another one that I've kind of been shuffling around. I think I'm going to be with Elliot, and I'm going to go B tier. I think this is a really good record. I actually kind of like some of the B-sides. I love 12 Year Circus. I think that's a really good song. I don't know why. It always stuck out to me as one that stuck with me besides all the other ones you called out. Definitely lacks the polish of the later stuff, but, Good Riddance rules. So looking at the rest of this list, there's definitely ones I'll not go back to comparatively. So B tier is good for this. So.
All right. Well, John's predictions matching up here pretty good. In case you guys didn't know, John predicted that him and Dylan were going to match up, and me and Lewis were going to match up. So let's see what happens in the next one here.
I might disappoint at some point here. I don't know.
Let's find out. What's going up next, John?
Yeah, not a 1-for-1 match. I just said we're going to be close. Up next, we've got 88 Fingers Louie Behind Bars.
Oh, go ahead, John. Start us off here with it.
Yeah, I think that at this point, with these two, the 88 Fingers Louie does the Good Riddance style better than Good Riddance, as I think Behind Bars is a better album than Forgotten Country. So I'm going to put it in my B tier. It's not an album I spent a ton of time with, growing up. Like I got into 88 Fingers Louie late, but I've really come around to this album. I think it's solid throughout, and I'm definitely going to we've got to do something with 88 Fingers Louie down the road. We discussed like best and worst or something, but yeah, it's a good album. I'm going to go B tier.
Well, we are doing something with them now. We're basically covering 2 out of the 3 albums. After
That's
the
true.
discography
That's
already.
true. Yeah.
We could do a best of worst. I'd be down with that. I also agree with you, John. I think that this is a better Good Riddance album than Good Riddance album. That's why it's going in my A tier. So, I mean, the 88 Fingers Louie record, I feel like it kind of, 88 Fingers Louie kind of, sets, kind of a standard for, 90s skate punk in a lot of ways. The bass playing is out of this world. The guitar riffs are excellent. Outright Lies, Smart Enough to Run, Blink, I Hate Myself. There's, tons of just absolute bangers on this record. And I always just kind of assumed Back on the Streets was the superior record, but I think it's really fucking close. You could probably go either way. I think Back on the Streets is more standouts, but this is I feel it's a really cohesive skate punk record where you always get a nice peak of a really good song and then maybe a few faster songs and stuff like that. But I think Behind Bars is an excellent record. And Lewis, where would you put this one?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree that this is as good as Back on the Streets. I think Back on the Streets is a pretty big step up, to be honest. But and for the standouts, it rules. But it is this is a really good record too. This is one that I hadn't listened to in a while, so it was kind of fun to get back to it. But 88 Fingers Louie, I mean, I think the assessment that they're pretty close to what Good Riddance was doing, John, is pretty right. But it feels kind of similar vibes. And I'm going with Elliot on this one. It's going to be my other A tier.
Baby.
We're getting fingered over here up in the A tier. So
we almost made the shocker. All right,
yeah,
Dylan.
almost.
What do you think here?
For as much as I dislike Rise Against, you would think I would have a similar opinion of 88, but I don't. I think they're a much better band than Rise Against. And I think this is a way better record than any Rise Against record. I'm gonna put
shots.
I'm gonna keep the trend going here. It's going in B. All
right.
A few things I like a little more.
Rise Against just getting stray shots here.
Well, I mean, they got Joe and Mr. Precision were in.
Yeah, I mean, they sound nothing alike, though. I feel like
I know, but there's half the members.
Half the members, definitely. Yeah,
and they're better in this band. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Do people not think Revolutions Per Minute is a really good
That's
record?
That's a dog shit album.
It's good. I also think Siren Song of the Counterculture. I would actually probably put it over Behind Bars.
I think Revolutions Per Minute rules, dude. I love that record. Say whatever you want about some Rise Against, but that album ripped ass.
Worst band on Fat at the time.
Most successful band on Fat at the time.
I would say definitely. But yeah, that wraps up 88 Fingers Louie. What do we got next here, John?
We're going from Fingers in the A to Cock Rock by Diesel Boy.
All right. Now I'm just going to go spastic and random. And Dylan, start us off here with Diesel Boy.
Our little
Okay.
diesel boy.
Our little Diesel Boy.
Diesel Boy is gonna go in B. I think this is a great album, but it doesn't stack up against the likes of a few other things we're gonna talk. I keep saying that, but it's true. Yeah, I think this. I don't know if this is the best Diesel Boy album. I like it more than the newest one. I know.
Oh wow!
John's shaking his head.
Boy.
No way.
Oh boy!
Oh, come on now. You got Punk Rock 101, better Punk Rock 101 than Bowling for Soups for sure. And
I think John also disagrees with
Yeah, I
that.
disagree.
no, it's true. It's true. I'm basically airing my grievances against all the bands I don't like that much.
You know, you're like, fuck Bowling for Soup, fuck Rise Against.
I don't know about that. I don't want to be. Jared seems like a nice guy, and I know there's a slight
know.
above 0% chance he watches this. So sorry, Jared. I don't like your band that much.
It's all right. We stand Bowling for Soup.
Not
here,
that you
but-
should give a shit. It doesn't matter.
I hold your opinion in high regard, but Lewis, what do you have to say about Diesel Boy here? Cock
I
Rock.
don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's like okay. I mean, I think this is going to be my most improved record. If there was a superlative between this record and the newest record, so that's where I'm going to disagree with Dylan because, I mean, I really never really heard Diesel Boy too much till I kind of checked out the new record, and like this was really hard to get into after hearing that new one. I'll be honest, and it doesn't really stand out to me as anything too special. Got to be honest. So I don't think it's bad, but everything on here is a pretty good record. I'm gonna put it in C, I guess, but I'm gonna hold on to that. I may call a mulligan. I'm gonna be honest. So
Okay. Yeah, this I knew about Diesel Boy. The first song I ever heard was Bossa Nova off of this record here.
Yeah.
It was on Skate Punker 96, which I've mentioned, I think, like probably 5 times on this channel. He was just a YouTube channel to upload a bunch of obscure skate punk stuff, and this was one of them on there. And so I'm like familiar with this record, but and I think it's a good skate punk record, and I really do like it. It's just, I think compared to everything else on here, this is one that I would be the least likely to go back and visit. But there are some like great songs on here, like Lime Green, 3s and 4s, Damaged, which that line from Damaged always gets stuck in my head. Like, she comes through with the purple Doc Martens. It's like a goofy song. I enjoy Diesel Boy, but it has to go into D tier.
Oh.
But I don't think it's a D tier record by any means. It's just by process of elimination of what's coming up.
Elliot convinced me, John. Put mine in D. I didn't want to give it that hard, but I'm.
Come
I'm
on,
with it.
guys.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying to convince that hard. I was.
True,
No, but like-
Drew,
I'm
DREW, I want to fuck you. Come on now.
I'm looking at the list here, and I think
it's
you're
true.
right. Like, I don't know. I mean, I like listen, Dylan. They're gonna do real well on the new records when we do it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
put this one in D though. So I love that new record. So
But John, where are you putting Diesel Boy? Cock Rock.
Yeah, I don't know, like I like Diesel Boy, and I think the new one is got a lot of potential to be A or S, like Lewis is saying. This one, it suffers from kind of that double platinum sound. It's so, the guitars are so muddy. But I think 3s and 4s is my favorite one on here. But I also like Damage. All the ones you said, Elliot, I'm right there with
Yeah.
you as the standouts. But
Definitely.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna go right in between Dylan and you guys. There's definitely some I like a little better. This might be my least favorite Diesel Boy though, honestly.
The dream has died.
Yeah,
Well,
it's still close.
skate-
Yeah.
the skate punk purist will be singing Dylan's praises here. But let's move on to the next record here. What is it going to be, John?
The next one is gonna be the Swingin' Utters Streets of San Francisco.
speaking of muddy sounding,
Yeah.
I'll start with this one, where
You can't talk about production. This is a punk rock video.
I know, but it's
I mean,
a constant topic about this band. Their
Off
records
limits.
just sound like mess. Yeah.
I think, I mean, it depends. Like, when it comes to production, it's like you can have great production and you can have bad production that works for what the band's trying to do. I think this kind of works for what the band is, which is kind of this I don't know, like street punk social D, kind of skate punk social D sound that Swingin' Utters likes to do here. I think it's a pretty good record overall. It's just I don't think it also doesn't need to be like over 40 minutes long. And the standouts are far and few between, but there's no songs that I particularly dislike. I like, let's see here, Teenage Genocide, I think was probably the best song, and No Eager Men was a great song. No Place in the Sun. They were like kind of reminded me of like 70s punk a little bit with some of these songs, like a lot of times, which I kind of enjoyed how they were doing it. But it's going to be in my C tier. I think it's a fun record, but not one I'm probably going to revisit too often. So I'm curious because I've heard some other Swingin' Other stuff that I'm starting to like a lot more. So I feel like the debut is just not going to be my favorite of theirs. But Lewis, go ahead. What do you think of the Swingin' Others here?
Well, we're gonna keep on track here because I'm also going C tier. I mean, it's pretty good.
Damn, bro.
I mean, it's one of the Utters records that I don't go back to very often, so it was kind of fun to listen to again. I mean, I don't want to shit on the Utters, but they're clearly kind of part of their sound to kind of have like a muddy wash. I don't know. I mean, every record kind of has the same production value. I mean, so it's obviously part of their thing. It's good for all the songs you called out. It's better than some of the other ones coming up. So I'm comfortable with C. We'll stick with that. Dylan, what do you think about the Swinging Utters?
Consistency is key, Lewis. I'm going to go and put the Swinging Utters in the same tier as you, gentlemen. I'm going to put it in C. I like, what's the... Fuck, I'm bad with album
Juvenile
titles.
Product.
Juvenile Product and 5 Lessons Learned, I think, are both better than this album.
They are.
I like the self-titled one too. Is it from 2000s? The one with Pills and Smoke.
Yeah,
that one's really
I also
good.
like Here Under Protest, I think, is a good album.
I like Dead Flowers too. Sorry. No, just chiming in.
I think the Swingin' Utters are a pretty good band.
All right. Swingin' Utters, pretty good band. John, what do you think of the Swingin' Utters?
I don't like this album, guys. I think this is my second to last album on the list. This is my least favorite Swingin' Utters album. I think they have some great records, but this one is just this is a hard listen, especially with the length. I think they've got better standouts on every album. So yeah, from these, this is a bottom 2. So I'm gonna go D tier on the Utters.
I can respect it. I respect it.
It's fair. So I mean,
Cue
I get
the angry Swingin' Utters fan commenters. They're coming out.
yeah. Sorry, Devin, the punk rock guru.
In
He's
the
a big
words,
Utters fan.
that song "Tell Me Lies." That's what they're doing to themselves.
Yeah, they have a lot of good songs. Unfortunately, not many on this album. That's what it comes down to.
Be good. You have to like all of them, every single syllable.
You guys have
what's
trash takes. Yeah, what's next?
I think it's my turn to shit on. I'm the biggest fan of a band here.
Yeah,
so.
go ahead, Lewis. Go ahead. Talk about Real Big Fish. Everything sucks. Does it suck?
I am by far the biggest Real Big Fish fan here, I would think.
Yes.
And I think they have great records. This one is going to go in my D tier for a couple reasons. I think there's a lot of good songs on here that were recorded significantly better on subsequent albums. So why would you go listen to this record ever? There's not really a reason to, because all of the records after this are far better, including Turn the Radio Off. Some of the songs made it onto Why Do We Rock So Hard. I mean, they're just better. So this is a good first album. It sounds like a mess. The production quality is not there. I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but sonically, it's a way big jump up to their next record. So this is even though I love this band, I do like this record. It's going to have to go D tier compared to all these other efforts because it wasn't re-recorded the other ones really. So D tier. Dylan, you were shaking your head. I guess you have some feelings.
S tier.
This is the lowest hanging fruit pick of all time. I wouldn't even consider this an album. This is more of a demos collection. It sounds terrible. So I mean, there's not much else to say. The two that followed it, that borrowed from it, or I mean, I almost said don't turn away. Turn the Radio Off is essentially. I don't think there's anything new beyond what's on this album on there. Is there? Or is it all from this?
No, I think there's a few. I can't remember.
I would say 80% of the track list is made up of songs from this. So, like you said, why bother listening to this? You just want to listen to shittier versions of good songs.
You want to listen to raw Big Fish instead of Real Big Fish. But,
Want to go raw
sounds
dog
like
the real
Real
big
Big-
fish?
Real Big Fish, if you recorded them in the other room, like you have the microphone on the other side of a brick wall or something, you can't even like hear it.
Yeah, but this is a 10 out of 10 album cover, though. Let's
Yeah.
give it that to you.
I love the album cover. It looks
Dog
like
biting a kid's mouth is the best.
I wish it ripped better, but John, where would you put Real Big Fish or
I thought
Raw
it was
Big
a-
Fish?
I thought it was a dog eating something out of a kid's mouth.
Oh, maybe that's it. I don't know. It's the dog's face is in its mouth. Whatever's
Yeah,
going
we
on.
don't know what's going on, so
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, I'm going to go D with the guys. It's the worst album on the list. I'm not going to shit on it anymore. I'm glad it was here though, because other than this was a really hard tier list. So
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
dude.
thanks for this
here.
one.
Yeah, you're welcome. Toss mine in the D tier too. I mean, I don't know. What's the? Yeah, I guess all the songs that are standouts on this end up on Turn Off the Radio. So there's not too much reason unless you really want to hear like a really raw demo collection of Real Big Fish, which I don't particularly care to listen to. I don't ever listen to Real Big Fish on my own time, so I'm definitely not going to listen to this. I do own this because it was at a store and it was $1. So it was at like some used bookstore. They have all these CDs. I'll just grab whatever. I also have Goldfinger's disconnection notice, so it doesn't say too much about the records I've owned. But
Do you have the Keep Your Receipt EP from Real Big Fish though?
No, I don't
I
have
have
that. That'd be fun. So, but no, I don't have that one. But what's next on the list here, John?
It is the Suicide Machines Destruction by Definition.
Okay. You know what, Dylan? Go ahead. Just start us off with this one. Suicide Machines, Destruction by Definition here.
All right, we just talked about a not so good ska album, and now we're going to talk about one of the best ska albums of all time, according to the Punk Rock Radar YouTube channel. S tier, no doubt.
Yeah.
It runs circles around the Real Big Fish album. Production's on point, super high energy, great songs.
Hell yeah, Lewis. What do you got to say about this one?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, of course I'm S tier. This is one of my favorite records of all time. I love the Machines, and this record. I mean, I think when we did this Suicide Machines, I think I put this in S tier because I think it's a top tier Suicide Machines record. So obviously, it's going to blow out the rest of a lot of this other trash. I mean, for a debut album, I mean, it sounds incredible. The band really has their sound developed. I mean, it's so good. And I mean, I think we've talked about how the B-side kind of tapers off. I don't even think it's that bad. I think it's pretty good, even throughout, even at the end. So yeah. But amazing. S tier.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a near perfect ska punk, ska core record from the 90s. I mean, this is like such a perfect spiritual successor to what Op 5 he did in 1989 and just, just made it for the mid 90s. Break the Glass, Hey, Islands, Face Value. There's so many just classic songs in here. I never really get tired of listening to this record, but I do get tired of talking about it. But let's go ahead and put it in the S here.
I still can't believe it's like a major label release. Like it blows my mind.
On a Disney. It's on a Disney owned label too.
Yeah, it's crazy, but like I mean, it's fascinating point in history, I guess. But John,
No, it's S. Like Elliot said, it's a great album. I'm done talking about it, but it's very good. S tier, definitely.
All right, what's next up on the list here, John?
Next up, we've got we're staying close. We got the 3 ska-ish records in a row. We've got the Goldfinger self-titled.
John, go ahead. Start us off with the Goldfinger self-titled here.
There it is. I didn't want to do it, but like based on the strength of like Here in Your Bedroom, Mind's Eye, Mabel, I feel like this is A tier, and I gotta put it there. Like, I'm not the biggest Goldfinger fan, but I think this is a great album. It's a great debut. So I'm not gonna kid myself. I don't care about punk points or anything like that. I'm putting the good albums up high and the bad albums down low. So A tier. It's a good record.
All right, Dylan, where are you putting Goldfinger?
A all day. And I'm not sure who you're afraid of upsetting with this choice, because I mean, you think the Bracket fans are gonna be like, how dare you put Goldfinger over Bracket?
they'd have to exist first.
They'd have to find a Bracket fan first.
I'm leaking
Bracket
what's
fan.
going on.
I love
from their hometown fans. So
if you're a Bracket fan, leave a comment down below how you're outraged John didn't put them
There
in
are
the
dozens.
there's there's so many of us. There's so many of us. But the Lewis, where would you put Goldfinger self-titled?
Yeah, I'm not really a Goldfinger fan either, to be honest. But you know, I've seen them a bunch of times, and I've listened to the songs, and I gave this one another fair shake. And yeah, for a debut record, this album's really good. I mean, obviously, the production's really good. The songs rule. Mabel, I think, well, Here in Your Bedroom's good, but I think I like Mabel the best of this record.
Mabel is awesome.
Pretty fun song. Yeah. So, I'm gonna put this one in B tier. I mean, quality wise, it's way better than anything below it. So yeah, B tier all day.
Oh man, this was like the toughest final two for me because I could not for the life of me figure out what to do with Bracket because I really do like it. But I think the Goldfinger record is a better record overall. It's definitely got like the more catchy writing. I don't really like John Feldman's lyrics or most of his writing. It's like pretty terrible, but the dude can write an absolutely catchy song, and the production I love it on this self-titled one. That the snare, I love the snare. I don't I love how the snare pops off in these things. Anxiety, I think, is probably my favorite song on the record. But yeah, it's got to be B tier. So our final one here, if you already heard about it, it is going to be Brackets. Forestville Drive. What's the number?
924 Forestville.
924 Forestville Drive. I can't even remember my own address, so it's hard to remember.
Forestville
Brackets
Street
album
too.
Name. Forestville Street. So I'm trying to think. Lewis, go ahead. Just start us off here. What do you think, Bracket? Because you talk about Bracket, I feel like the least out of everyone here.
Yeah, I mean, I think like most Bracket records, it's pretty unoffensive, pretty good. Never kind of escalates past pretty good for me, though. I think they're a pretty good band. I'm sorry, I know some of you guys are gonna have a higher opinion of them, but it's a C tier record. I mean, it's a fine debut. I probably will never listen to it again, but good, whatever. John, you're the biggest Bracket fan, so why don't you sing its praises before we put it in C and D?
Yeah, I don't know why people don't talk about this more. Like, if you like Green Day's Kerplunk, like, I feel like if you're right at home with this album, Why Should I is the best song on here, but Get It Right is good. You got the first two of many Warren songs. I don't know what they're up to now, but this is a great record. Bracket is a slept-on band. I think their newest one is going to be high for me as well. But yeah, this is probably the least known album on this list. So if you're a fan of Lookout style stuff, and especially Kerplunk, go check out 924 Forestville. It's a great debut, and the subsequent ones are also very good. But I'm gonna go B tier.
Yeah, I'll just go next year. I really like this Bracket record. I think Warren's song Part 2 has and Can't Make Me have incredible melodies, but the one what'd you say was your favorite, John?
Why Should I?
I have that one. Why Should I is also great. I think it's with Bracket, it's weird. It's they come off when you first hear them as a boring band, almost like a slowed down Green Day. But there's something definitely infectiously catchy about it. And there's something about the style that I think is really cool. They're a mix of Green Day and the early '90s Super Chunk and stuff like that. Some of these kind of bands.
Beach Boys, little Beach Boys melodies.
Little Beach Boys, yeah, definitely. They do have Beach Boy melodies. Yeah. You're right, but I think it's really good. I could almost mulligan it for the good Riddance record, but we haven't had any mulligans yet so far, so I'm just gonna stick by my C tier. But I think it's better than the Others record by a pretty significant amount, honestly. So I'll go C though. Dylan, why D?
It's not going to be in D because don't slow down. Because I fucked up. I forgot it existed on this list here. It's at the bottom. Drop the Swingin' Utters. And I was thinking the whole time I'm going to drop the Swingin' Utters and Diesel Boy and do something extremely funny and end up matching John anyway.
Yeah.
But I like the Diesel Boy album more. You guys name dropped every band on the planet except the band I think this version of Bracket sounds the most like, which is the Mr. T Experience. I think this album reminds me a lot of Love Is Dead by the Mr. T Experience, but a little less bubblegum pop and a little less hopeless romantic lyrics. So, I think this is a fine album. And as Lewis said, Bracket is a inoffensive band.
They're very inoffensive, but they're good. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's great background music for me. I like them.
Sure, they could find a way to offend somebody, but not me.
If we owned,
All right.
if we owned a punk rock radar office building with like an elevator, we would play Bracket on the elevator.
We could, like,
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, what's the Bracket and Down by Law? Mix it there. John might be like, let's just play Bracket.
Just Bracket.
You know, the Down by Law pick.
They should. I wonder if they have a song. Does Bracket have a song called Elevator? I feel like they do. I feel like they could. They got song names like that. They probably do. Well, I'll find it. But that wraps this up here. So we've got. All right. I mean, me and Lewis matched on everything except for he put face to face and S. Yeah. And I put Pulley and S. And you and Dylan matched up on everything except for the placement of Bracket and Diesel Boy. So yeah, John, you're correct. Your prediction was 100%. I don't know
surprised
how
you guys were as close as you were, though. But I mean, most of these are pretty like universally liked albums. So again, to reiterate what maybe not a few of them. Reiterate what Elliot said. If you're upset about any of this, I mean, there's 2 per tier, so we have to put some in the lower tiers. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think
fucking Real Big Fish fans crying about this, man.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, John. Did you think I would put Real Big Fish slightly higher than D John? Or
Yeah,
did you think
I
didn't think
definitely.
it was that good?
I didn't think you.
Oh, really?
I didn't think you were gonna put it high, but like I thought B or C.
Oh,
No,
wow. Yeah, no, this one sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, compared to the other ones.
everything does suck, especially the
This
Real
album.
Big Fish album.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking out another punk rock debut. We will be back with all these exact same bands' newest records, which honestly is going to be, I feel like, way more exciting than this one.
Way
there's
easier.
like-
Way easier.
You think it's easier? There's like
Yes.
5 of them. I've never heard the Diesel Boy one, never heard the Good Riddance one, so I'm going to be pretty curious how they stack up. But don't forget to go to punkrockradio.limitedrun.com. We've got Rain Check, High Bro, Low Bro. John's got is wearing the official Punk Rock Radar hoodie, which has got like the About Time dynamite on the front. I don't think it's not About Time, but everyone thinks it is. That's what I'm saying it is. And we got the Dookie logo on the back. John's gonna stuff whatever you buy from Punk Rock Radar with a bunch of stickers. We've got Sesame Street stickers. We own the IP, the copyright to that. So
You're
no
going to get
issues
us in
there.
trouble.
We never violate copyright on this channel. So, but thank you guys for watching, and we're out of here.
Later, guys.